Hello, I'm Pirate Dave, and one of my New Year's resolutions was to make videos a little bit more often. I thought the best way to start was with my weekly comic haul from the comic book shop. It is New Comic Book Day. Starting it off, I have my comic shop pull the Phantom, all covers. My wallet has been very appreciative of the fact that there has only been 3 covers per issue since the first one. The first one's up to like 10 now, and I can't even track down one of them. It's a store exclusive. Freddie Williams II is making that cover A. He's been doing a really great job. I got a chance to ask him a question in his AMA on leagueofcomicgeeks.com, aka the Comic Geeks app that you can download for Android and iPhone. I asked him about whether or not he got enough to do the interiors because I look what he's doing with the covers. I would have loved to see him on the interiors as well. He did not elaborate whether or not he received that offer, but he did say that his schedule would have been too tight to take on the Phantom, which is a shame. But he was open. He's open to illustrating it. He loves the character. Just saying, King Features. Just saying, Fru. Just saying. Cover B is made by Kane and White, and I think Wancho is doing the colors on this one. I love the story that Kane and White's been telling on his covers. The Phantom's been chasing this Jeep through the jungle the last 3 issues, and then he's jumping on it. This one, like I said, it's a story happening on the cover, so it doesn't really have much to do about what's happening inside. It's just playing out as a series of sequential art in cover form, and it's been fantastic. Last one, I believe this is still an incentive cover. It has been so far, is by Natasha Bustos, and all these illustrations has just been the Phantom knocking the hell out of people. I love it so much. It's a little bit more colorful too, a little bit more vibrant than the other colors. If I had to pick one, it would probably be what Bustos is doing. They've been so fantastic. As far as what's going on inside, this is being written by Ray Fox and illustrated by Mark Russell Olson, or just Russell Olson, I think is what he goes by. Maybe I'm wrong about the Mark part. The art has been solid, and you can see a beautiful splash page here on the second page. This iteration of the Phantom has been a little bit controversial. You can see from his booty, there's no striped briefs. It's probably as controversial as Superman briefs, no briefs, really. So a lot of fans are gonna not like those versions of him. Some fans aren't gonna have as much of a problem with him. I like the striped briefs, but this has been fine. It's been doing a great job translating the pulpy qualities of the Phantom with a modern, a modern story. This is the Phantom protecting the Bandar village, which is the village that protects his secrets, after the Singh Brotherhood descends upon them due to a drug plane crashing nearby. Very intense story. I love, especially the second issue, did a really great job showing the how at odds the Phantom is with a situation like that, and how he, hopefully at least, will persevere out of it. The next book that I picked up was kind of a little mystery treat. It was a blind bag that I already opened. I'll do a little bit of reveal here. You see Harley Quinn X Elvira blind bag, and the cover is, boom, very realistic depiction of Elvira. I don't know who they might have used for the face model for Harley Quinn. I was a big fan of Elvira. Well, no, I wasn't a big fan of Elvira. I was passively a fan of Elvira growing up for a couple of reasons. Just leave it there. Harley Quinn I've been a huge fan of from the movies. I followed her books back into the 2000s, the series that she had. I got a couple of the trades. And then the Kaylee Cuoco cartoon show has been just fantastic. This is being written by Jimmy Palmiotti of Marvel Knights Punisher fame, I would guess, and Amanda Conner. You can see from the illustration there, Amanda Conner does a few of the pages in here, but just a few. She just does the first few before it transitions into Juan Samu. Yeah, Juan Samu. The transition isn't too stark though. It's great art. Fantastic what it is, and Samu and Connor are drawing all the things they need to draw in all the right places. I don't know if that's a rare cover or not from the blind bag, but there you go. Maybe it is. Maybe you would know better than me. I just picked it up because I had kind of a lighter week, to be honest. Up next is even more racier than Harley Quinn X Elvira. So divert your children's attention away from the computer or phone screen. It is Vampirella, Christopher Priest Vampirella, to be precise. That cover has been illustrated by Lucio Perillo. I like all of his covers. Some of them are really truly works of art. Some of them are just a very sexy lady on the cover. Um, really, the at the end of the day, when you cover up the distracting parts, that's not exactly who you get to see inside. So take that as you will. That's what happens with these kinds of books. They have beautiful cover artists, and then what's going on inside is what it is. Some Vampirella fans might rejoice because Ergen Gunduz, who is a controversial artist that's been with Christopher Priest since 2019, since the beginning. Not every single series, but most of them. He's not in for this issue. Davis Goten is, but it looks like Goten is taking on Gunduz's aesthetic. So, I mean, some of these panels, this is a throwback to a conversation that is actually had in the 2019 series. Some of them are very reminiscent of that. So you may have been excited not to see Gunduz's name there, but don't get too excited because you're. It looks like you're still going to see his aesthetic. I still need to catch up with Vampirella's story. I need to track down the number 4 that I missed, and I need to order that from somewhere offline. Unfortunately, somewhere online, I should say. Up next is Hank Howard in The Two Hollywoods, issue number 1. I don't know what this is about at all. I like the cover. I like pulpy, modernized things. This variant is Andrea Sorrentino's variant. I call it the Bret Hart variant. If you know, you know. Hitman colors. Very striking. The cover is probably 75% of the reason I picked up this book. And then I'm glad that, I opened it, leafed through it, saw that it was a wonderful aesthetic throwback to sort of like EC Comics and that. And you can see like the nice little inking details as well. Hopefully that'll be a nice little gamble I took on something that I was not prepared to pick up. That and Harley Quinn were the two ones that I wasn't expecting to pick up this week. So lastly, we have Night Before Christmas, The Shiver of Christmastown. I believe I was reading that this is the first Nightmare Before Christmas comic book. Is that right? That doesn't sound like it can be right, but I thought I read something to that nature. This is being written by Torun Grunbuch. I probably butchered that name, Torun Grunbuch. I believe she's still writing Catwoman, or was writing Catwoman. Artist is Edu Mena. I love Grunbuch's Red Sonja series, her first arc especially, more than the series, to be honest. The aesthetic inside, kind of a classic Disney aesthetic. It's very clean. It's very bright. Like that is much brighter than the vibes you would have gotten from the movie, right? Especially the yellows. That just doesn't seem like it. If it's a palette that was used at all in the movies, it certainly wouldn't be appropriate to backdrop onto an entire panel. So maybe that's just early nitpicking. Maybe this will blow my socks off. Hopefully, I am wrong about that judgment. The last one that I picked up this week didn't come out this week, but the collection did. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, DC Comics Compact Edition, $10. $10, and we can compare it to the size of a regular comic book here. Of course, if you've already got some of these compact editions, you'll be familiar with that. You see there? Not much smaller than a regular comic book. Nice, easy, portable, affordable. I do already own this series. I own all the floppies. I own a couple of copies of number 1, in fact. But this is just great that they're making such an affordable way to get your hands on this series, to share it with other people. And that's really why I bought this was, case people want to borrow Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, especially with the movie coming up, I can let them borrow this and none of my floppies. Don't touch my floppies. You can touch this. You can beat this up. This is fine. $10. Great deal. Bill Quisevely shrinking her art down in that regard, is a little bit of a crime. But if it means more people can see it, then that will be a great little boon. Those were all the books that I picked up. For posterity's sake, I really quickly wanted to talk about some books that I also read this week. This wasn't all the books that I read, just a couple of the noteworthy ones. First up is Dan Brereton's Nocturnals. If you're familiar with Brereton, I just got introduced to him. This will be no surprise, but you can see in these panels, beautifully painted stuff. This was collected from 1995. So you're not seeing any digital assistance. You're definitely not seeing AI art. Dan Brereton just went to the nines, balls to the wall, and I wouldn't be surprised if he literally did full-scale paintings for every single panel that he did. It's just beautiful stuff. The Nocturnals is about a motley band of monster-like individuals. It's an urban fantasy setting, a modern one. And it's really just them sort of carving out their piece of the gangland that they have to sort of survive and thrive in. The collection itself was crowdfunded, so it's got like an introduction, it's got a script to a prequel in there. It collects an additional one shot. There's other stories, it's other story. Although, I mean, technically the script for the prequel is an additional story, so maybe I'm being unfair about that. I got this for $20 with shipping. It was such a great deal. It's a previews edition too, so you may be able to find an edition around that price as well. I was seeing some very good deals for them. The other significant book that I finished this week was When We Were The Voyage by Eric Williamson. This came out July of last year. I picked it up, read over the course of like a couple of nights. I read maybe a quarter of it, and then I had to put it down for months. The reason is because Williamson is a very, very considerate author, and what he is doing here is it's mostly a prose book. It's not reliable on traditional sequential art. A lot of the artwork that is in there is sporadic and just complementary to introduce some of the characters that exist within the book. This is the harvester and the feaster who have come to Earth to weave the denizens of the planet into their tapestry of pain. It's cosmic horror at the most definitional level. If you know what the term means, you're probably wrong if you haven't read this book. This book is what the term means. It's so illustrative in its descriptive quality, the pictures that it creates in your head, and that's really where the density comes from. It's 300 pages, and as you could see from the from the letter size, from the print size, it's not like you're getting so many words squeezed into the text. It's such a descriptive experience in terms of the violence that occurs, not just on a sort of scary slasher level where the knife comes down into this, something descriptive like that. What is biologically happening to like human tissue on that level? That's how descriptive it is, and really it has the literary quality of sequential art in that idea. Williamson is not using artists so much to create the sequential art. He's using your mind, and it's in a different way than a novel, for example, where it allows you to a typical novel allows you to use your imagination to your own comfort, so you can fill in details and faces and descriptions and things with ideas that are probably comforting to you. This really does not allow you to do that. It's very detailed on what exactly is happening, and you don't really get to squeeze your own comfortable ideas into it, when you picture them in your mind, it stays with you. At least it stayed with me. I keep talking about this in the second person. Let me just talk about it in the first person. It stuck with me. I put this book down for months because sometimes when I closed my eyes, I thought about some of the descriptions that were happening in it, and I just, I didn't want to go back to it. Part of my New Year's resolution was to tackle my backlog, and this was the first one that I really went. I really dedicated myself to finishing up. I'm very glad I did. This was quite an experience. I never want to read it again, but if that sounds interesting to you, and hopefully it sounds like an interesting challenge to you, if you're interested in cosmic horror, When We Were The Voyage, look up Miscreant Media on the old Google machine. You should find Eric Williamson's shop. I think that's just one of the places that you can still pick this one up. Absolutely, absolutely unimaginable, uncommunicable experience. Check it out. That's it. This video went a little bit longer, but it is my first comic haul video weekly new comic book day thing doing. So I'm sure I'll get more economical as time goes on. I can't imagine anybody's listened to this far. If you have, thanks for sticking around. This is mostly for posterity, but it's always nice to hope that you're creating something that's mildly interesting to other people. Hopefully you had a great new comic bake. Hopefully you had a great Hopefully you had a great new comic book day too, and I'll see you next week.